tomorrow, probably. Just continued dialogue, but no decisions.
AJ, how much stock do you put into previous matchups with the Red Sox when you kind of game plan for this series?
Like what? Like previous, anytime a guy's faced him, or just
Mostly, yeah.
Josh James? Is that the elephant in the room? But it's a little bit. You factor in some history. We're well aware of what guys have done. You can believe in small samples. You can believe in large samples. Last series, I got asked about matchups that Justin Verlander struggled with the Indians. It didn't deter me from starting him in Game 1. So I think you factor it in as part of any analysis you have. If you live and die by that, you'll probably have some successes and some failures. If you I believe in combining what you see with what you know. There's also some changes along the way. You give credit to some guys who have made adjustments. Colin McHugh's had a rough stretch against some of these guys by numbers. Not sure if you guys saw his last outing, but if you did, pretty powerful. So, I guess a little bit.
When we spend so much time discussing splits, what is it about Sale that enables him to be so successful against right-hand hitters?
He's incredible. I mean, he has weapons beyond sort of human nature. His size, the angle, his pitches. When he's healthy and it's in the mid to upper 90s, you just don't see that. Spin on his breaking ball is ridiculous. He's got some tenacity to him. He has fearlessness. The hitters just don't react very fast to him, and rightfully so. So he's elite, and it doesn't matter if you bat left-handed or right-handed. It's uncomfortable.
Presley is matching up well against everybody, but anything specifically against the Red Sox that you think he could?
Yeah, every leverage opportunity possible. I mean, I think he's a very strong weapon. Now, in a 7-game series, you're going to need a lot of guys to step up in leverage situations, but anywhere ranging from the 4th inning to the 9th inning, whatever we need. He's a huge weapon for us. He's got power in all of his pitches and performance to back it up.
Presley, he had never pitched in the playoffs before. I think he spikes the first pitch he throws, and I think in another outing he has a leadoff walk. How did you see him sort of respond to maybe the little bit of adversity he did face?
Yeah, no, he's fine. I mean, after that, the ball in the dirt, he threw some pretty good breaking balls. So he spiked a breaking ball in the regular season before too. So I don't really. He's not going to back down. He's not going to panic. He's not going to fear anyone. And if I had his repertoire, I wouldn't either.
How much did you know Sale before the All-Star game to get to know him a little bit?
Yeah, I knew him a little bit just because you kind of tend to have a whether it's the bro hug or whether it's a handshake or something around the cage. And, people who know people, and I think that's how you get relationships with guys around the league. And then at the All-Star game, got to know him a little bit better. So, if there was any doubt that he was going to ask for the ball in Game 4 of their last series, be around him for 1 minute and you'll know he's that kind of pitcher. I expect him to bounce back on a little bit of a different program than he's used to and be ready for Game 1. He'll probably want the ball in Game 4 or 5 or whenever they want to use him again. So it's he's one of the best pitchers in the league, and it's not by accident. He prepares, he talks the game, he knows he's good. So we know we have our hands full.
Cleveland didn't have a lot of baseball, but though you got Maldonado for their speed and Boston runs as well. Do you think that'll be a bigger storyline just over a 7 years?
Well, sometimes the best defense is just the threat of them being out when they run. That doesn't have to mean he has to throw the runners out. It's he may stop 10 or 15 run opportunities on 3-1, 3-2s, on the downside of a hit and run, on the downside of a stolen base attempt. There's other ways to do it. The cop doesn't always have to pull you over. He just has to be there, and you'll slow down, right? You ever do that on the freeway? That's the same thing.
You talked previously about quality at bats. Is there any particular thing in your mind that sticks out about why this team has consistently been able to have success and be patient if things aren't working early the first 2 times?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's talent wins over time, and I think this is a talented group. It's also a tested group, and I think that our guys have a good idea how to prepare and then how to implement, and I think that success breeds more success, and that there's a comfort in knowing that, I know I've been asked over my time here with this group on why we're good late in the games. Like, we believe that we can come back late in games. We proved that in Game 3 against the Indians, and you explode and you run away with the game by scoring late in the game. Other times I get asked why we like playing on the road, and it's because we send our best hitters up in the first inning, and they get to bat and again in the third inning, and we tend to get kick-started a little bit better on the road. I just think our guys know that we can win, and we can beat you in a lot of different ways. And they also have a belief system that while Bregman's having an MVP caliber season, the reigning MVP is lockered down to him, a couple down in Altuve. And Marwin Gonzalez was the story offensively in the division series. And Gurriel might be the difference maker in this series, or maybe it's, that guy Correa who now hits towards the bottom of the order, or maybe it's George Springer homer, which he seems to do every postseason. So that helps, I think, understand that if it's not me, it's somebody else. And then you throw in the rotation and a really strong bullpen, and I think our guys feel like we're going to win today, the day we play.
I don't think his season as a whole, by his standards, is probably not meet the astronomical standards he has, but does it speak to the depth of your team that even when he went to the DL for the first time and had probably a subpar season by his standards, that you guys still really didn't miss much of a beat?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think our guys know that we can win in any circumstance. Now, I think our record's better with Altuve than without him, regardless of performance, and his performance is still really good. I think the fun part about this team is that the bar is so high for these guys, and they continue to try to work towards exceeding expectations, either personally or as a team, and that's hard to do when you start getting into, like, we're not going to have a 100-win season every year. I don't want to burst any bubble here, but that's really hard to do. Or guys aren't going to have MVP seasons, but Jose still hit over 300, still had a ton of doubles, still hit some homers, was very productive, largely playing on one leg. So it's nice to have, sort of a lot of guys in the foxhole that helps them, but the bar being set pretty high is a great attribute for these guys to continue to reach for it.
Do you plan to have either of your potential Game 3 or 4 starters available out of the bullpen earlier in the series?
Well, they both threw simulated games today, so probably counts them out for Game 1 and Game 2. I don't think, I know that the days of creativity and how pitchers are being used and how I used our rotation last year. That's probably why you're asking the question. I think given the agony that we're going through in these bullpen decisions and the options that we have in the pen and the performance of our pen and the depth of our pen, I see it less likely than ever initially in the series for me having to get that creative with our starters.
How much do pitchers today in the modern game think about the Green Monster Fenway? How much do they approach the batters?
Do they think about it? What do you mean?
They used to be a thing. I'm not sure that is anymore.
Which part? Like just
Approach the batters, are they concerned?
to pitch away from it?
Pitch away from, yeah.
No, I think that in today's day of all the information that we have, they're not going to pitch away from anything. I mean, these guys pitch at the Green Monster like cut in half. I mean, our wall's a lot shorter and left, but about the same distance. So I think you pitch to their weakness and to your strengths and where you get your outs, not necessarily trying to avoid a hit off the wall.
AJ, how important are the simulated games for Morton and Keuchel in this situation?
I just think it breaks up the routine and maybe kills a little nerves before they start. There's a long gap between when these guys pitch. Some of it mental, some of it physical. That's about it.
How many innings Morton simulated?
3.
And you got James some work yesterday. Is that important to
James
you?
threw yesterday. Davinsky's also throwing right now. Joe Smith threw an inning yesterday. So again, this is just kind of getting themselves mentally and physically ready. There's no evaluation period. There's no as long as they get out of it not hurting themselves or hurting the hitters, I'm pretty happy with it. This is some of it's killing time and energy, but and getting a little bit of feel. James Harden probably shoots free throws. Tiger Woods take a few balls off the tee. I'm sure Deshaun Watson throws a few out routes. Like that none of that stuff is necessarily geared towards anything other than being a little more precise when you get the opportunity again.
I was going to ask about evaluation. I was just saying since he didn't pitch in that last series, it is important.
Yeah, I mean, I don't regret it because we wanted to win, but it would have been nice to get him an inning. They gave that inning to Will at the end of that game, but yeah, he needed to get off the mound just from a gap in time and feel like just to get a little bit of competitive juices flowing.
Has Martin Maldonado exceeded your expectations offensively?
No, I mean, he's been about what we expected. I mean, his games have been really big. When he's contributed, it's been big homers and big doubles, and he mixed in a triple in there, which we all enjoyed that slide. And so I think he's contributed, which is really all we ask out of that catching position. And both McCann and Martin can do some damage when they do contribute. And Martin's pretty good at moving runners. He dropped a bunt the other day. Things that just help you win. So I think we expected him to contribute, and his defense is so much further along and so much maybe even more impactful that people can look past his offense. But there's a homer in there. There's a good at bat. He's going to compete. He can move runners, things that we ask out of the bottom of the order.
AJ, can you talk about just having been here before and been successful, how much of a difference that makes?
Yeah, no, it feels good. I mean, we have some good memories of going to Fenway or being the last team standing last year. I'm not sure it helps us necessarily on Saturday night, but I think we know what we're playing for, and everybody else does too, but it's nice to have been there and done that, and there's a calm and an easiness with any experience you have. Anywhere in life, if you have a little bit of experience, the second time or third time or fourth time through, it's going to feel a little bit good for you, but it doesn't make Sale easier to hit. Doesn't make Martinez getting out any easier, so you still got to go play. But I don't know. I don't know if that's what's led our team to have this vibe about us, but we're comfortable.